am here recording, getting ready to speak to you all. I'm excited. So before we get started, we're going to get into some jams before we talk about having a mentor. All right. Hey, y'all, I am Kimberly Gallow here to share with you some very valuable information on how to find a mentor. And so I'm going to share my screen with you all so you have access to the presentation I created. So 1 second. Boom, here we go. So here we are. I was asked by my great friend and mentee, Braylon James, who works for Girl Scouts, to come on here to do a presentation and to talk about finding a mentor. And I wanted to make this so conversational and very watered down, if you will, so that it can impact no matter what age you are and no matter what background you come from. So it's not designated towards finding a mentor in a certain area or a certain demographic, but just how to find a good mentor for you in particular. So to get started, next. Here we go. So I am Kim Gallow. I am a graduate of the Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana. I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, and I am now pursuing my master's in Student Affairs and Higher Education. I currently work at Xavier University. Prior to this current role, I was working at Northwestern State, my alma mater, working in fundraising and recruiting. So I did a lot of student engagement, student interaction from both, I guess, the student side and the alumni side. So I encourage alumni to come back and give back. And now I work in the space of athletics, where I am the Associate Athletics Director. I do student athlete development, student athlete engagement, and a lot of mentoring. See how that words on play came in, for the department and for our student athletes on campus. So 3 fun facts about me. I am 27 now. I just turned 27 yesterday. So my birthday was April 27th, and it was my golden birthday. So I was super excited. 27 on the 27th. Yay. So I'm 27 years old. I am obsessed with fruits. Super random facts. I love strawberries. I love grapes. Purple seedless grapes, to be exact. Mangoes, peaches, pineapples, you name it, I love it. Melons, all of it. So I'm obsessed with fruits. And last but not least, unfortunately, I am horrible. It's horrific how bad I am at making TikTok videos. Now, in this day and age of going virtual, I think we're finding ways to be innovative, and TikTok has been one of them, but it's not my forte. So whoever has funny TikTok videos, send them to me so I can share. I love watching people get creative on TikTok. I think it's hilarious. So that's a little bit about myself, and we're going to kickstart this presentation on mentorship. So I decided to start off with a quote from Oprah Winfrey, the famous Oprah Winfrey. We all know who that is, I hope. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside of yourself. So the mentor is that person that we all know we have a light bulb inside of us, but they come in and they screw it on a little tight so we can start beaming and glowing and demonstrating and doing things that exemplify what we believe and who we are as young women, right? So I felt like Oprah was the perfect person to add a little quote on there for, as she inspires me. So I'll read it again. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside of yourself. So they pour into you so you're able and equipped to pour into others. Benefits of mentorship. And I will say, of the 4, let me say this. Of the many and plenty I could have added, I've picked 4 that I felt were the most important things that you can gain from having a mentor and from having mentorship from someone, right? So the first one was professional development. Having a support system during critical times of growth, whether that's personal, emotional, mental, whatever that looks like for you. Every person goes through a million different seasons, right? So a season is being in high school. A season is the transition of going from high school to college, which is a huge season and transition of growth. Another transition will be really growing and moving forward in your college career. So getting involved, being engaged, and being successful in your studies. So when you talk about personal development, we're talking about how can we be better individuals? How can we be better friends, family members, sisters, brothers, whatever that looks like? How can we be better so that we're able to be and perform at our best and highest level of success? So personal development is one of many benefits of having mentorship and being a part of mentorship. The second one is definitely career advice. As you start to navigate through, what do I want to major in? What do I want to be when I grow up? What are the things that excite me and enlighten me so that I can be the best nurse, the best teacher, the best professional? So career advice, and those mentors help you. They give you insight, they give you advice, and they support you navigating through your field. And they're able to help you depict and understand certain situations, certain obstacles, way to go around and work around things that may be challenging in those environments and in those seasons. So that's the second one, is career advice. The third one I found was very, 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 very beneficial, and a benefit of having mentorship is networking. So 9 times out of 10, our mentors are going to be a bit older than us, and they're going to have been through things that have allowed them to be exposed to different people in different spaces. So what does that look like? I may be a nurse, but although I'm a full-time nurse, I might have interest in servant leadership. I might have interest in golfing or volleyball, or navigating through the Chamber of Commerce, which is a conglomerate of businesses in a specific area, in a demographic. So I live in Metairie, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. That chamber is a group of individuals and businesses in Metairie that come together and kind of advise the city on what we should be doing as a city, right? And those city leaders on what are the things from business and industry that we want to see. So the networking component behind mentorship is so important. So again, to go back to my first reference, although I'm a nurse, I may have interest in city development in the area I live in, and I want to see that expand. So I want to connect myself and connect others with people who I know will be beneficial to what that will look like moving forward. So getting connected with individuals through your mentors for extended relationship building, right? So you look at a web, right? When a spider builds a web, they have all these different ways to navigate through getting to the center, or continuing to expand to make the web bigger. So as you navigate through weaving that web and making that web, you're connecting the lines, you're connecting the dots. And so that's what networking is connecting pieces together so that it's a bigger picture that you're serving. It's a bigger population that you're impacting. So that's the third one I felt was extremely beneficial when we talk about mentorship. The last one is building skills. Story time. So about 2 or 3 years ago, I was asked to present to South Louisiana Community College in Lafayette. And so at the time I was working at Northwestern, and I'm like, you know what? I always told myself I need to allow myself to be exposed to opportunities that allow for me to publicly speak. Now, I will be the first to say I don't like speaking in public, right? Crazy, I know. I don't like speaking in public because I talk a lot. But I knew that was one of my weaker skills. And in order to be better, I have to practice it. And even if it is in front of only 10 people, at least I'm learning and growing on how to better enhance that skill of public speaking, right? So I will never forget, I agree and I commit to doing this public speaking engagement, right? So I'm like, I got this down, nail pack. I don't need to practice. I'm good. I'm speaking on personal experiences, right? Y'all, I get there. I start speaking. And time in my mind, time is moving. I'm on 30 minutes. I'm on an hour. And I end the presentation. And guess how long it took? 10 minutes. 10. And I'm looking at the crowd like they look blank. Like did I impact them? It's almost as if I was speaking to a friend versus speaking to educate or to inform a group. So I knew, although I took the initiative of doing the presentation and building that skill and working on that skill, was it meaningful? Was it impactful work, right? And so at the end of that presentation, I wanted to cry. I wanted to bawl. I wanted to get in a ball and just cry my eyes out, right? A mentor of mine, who just so happened to be in the building, in my session, stopped me and said, you know what, Kim, you're on the right track. You're moving forward. You're working on it. I see the passion that you have behind this particular topic. It's okay. You took a leap of faith. You did it. That's step 1. Step 2 is identifying what you did wrong and make it better. So those mentors can help coach, teach, and enhance those skills to further expose you to opportunities in developing who you are and the impact and the capacity that you serve in, right? So those are the four benefits that I felt were the most important towards having a mentor. So we have to throw some stats out there, right? So we have a few stats I wanted to depict and I wanted to share with you all. And these statistics came from mentoring.org, which is a mentoring platform that allows for you to find a mentor, be a mentor, and just connect with people who have similar interests. So the first statistic, straight to the point, is 55% of mentees are more likely to enroll in college. Wow. So when you talk about mentees, when you talk about college, those individuals who have someone that they can connect with, who are older than them or who are more experienced than them, seasoned than them, they're more likely to seek additional college. And that can be community college, a trade school, that can be a 4-year college or institution, whatever that looks like. They're willing to go to college. The second one, 90% of mentees are interested in becoming a mentor. Wow. A mentor. So when I look back at my career, when I look back at my educational experience, even dating as early as middle school, I can go back and think about those teachers, those coaches, those professionals that poured into me, that said, Kim, you can do that. Kim, how about you think about taking this direction or this pathway? The yellow brick road isn't always the only path to take to success, right? So when you talk about those who are mentees at one point, they 9 times out of 10 are going to become mentors because they know the impact that someone else or multiple people had on them to grow and develop. So that's the second statistic I wanted to share. And that's actually my favorite one. The third statistic is 78% of mentees are more likely to volunteer regularly. So mentorship is volunteer work. I just want you all to know that it's a free service that we're providing. It's a free opportunity to connect with individuals to make an impact on someone or to someone's season of their life, as I like to say. So 70% of those who are mentees are going to volunteer at homeless shelters, are going to volunteer at food pantries, are going to get involved, if any, in Greek life. Those sororities and fraternities that are service-based, they're going to be a part of that. They're going to be a part of the roundtable discussion that talks about how can we pour into youth, how can we pour into the education system to work one-on-one with, or even one with populations with reading, learning, writing. You know, those are the people who are going to be volunteering, is those who have had some type of mentorship in their life. The last one is 130%. So over almost everyone, actually everyone and more of mentees are more likely to hold leadership positions. So those are the individuals that you see who are city leaders, who are state leaders, who are politicians, who are involved in their sorority, fraternity, or student organization in college, who are student council presidents at high school. Those are individuals that are setting the tone for what leadership looks like, because they have individuals who are leaders in other spaces, pouring into them and teaching them those skills and building character and building leadership, building the fundamentals to be successful leaders and successful individuals who want to give back and impact other spaces. So those are some statistics that I wanted to share with you all that I felt were really, 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 really nice to know. Here's one more. From mentoring.org, students who meet regularly with their mentors are 52% less likely than other peers to skip a day of school, although that sounds fun. That's not the direction we want to go into. And 37% less likely to skip a class. So high school, we know we don't show up to class, our teacher's going to know where we are. Our teacher's going to know that we're missing in action, and they're going to report it. Where in college is not the teacher's responsibility to show up to class. They're going to show up regardless if there's 2 students in the class or 10. It's the student's responsibility to be present, to show up, and to do the work. And when I say do the work, doing the work includes showing up to classes, waking up, having a game face ready, having your plan of action of how can I be successful in this class or in this program, or how can I be successful in finishing high school. So for my high school seniors out there, school is over. You're no longer in person speaking with your teachers. How can you find a mentor if you're not seeing them? You can reach out to them via email. You can talk to them about, although I did not finish the semester or the school year with you, what is some advice I can give to you? Or what is the advice you can give to me that can help me with my journey of what's next in life, whether that's college, whether that's workforce. Ask those teachers your senior year, even your junior year, what advice can you give me to ensure that I am being the best person, the best friend, the best daughter, the best peer in my next phase of life, in that next season. And so when you look at these statistics and you look at skipping school and not going to class, those are all things that can impact you when you look at and talk about workforce. When you talk about showing up on time for work, when you talk about not calling in, to the appropriate or not calling into the appropriate channels to ensure that your boss and supervisor knows that you may be out ill or you had a family emergency. All of those things that you're doing right now in middle school and high school, that relates and that coordinates and that translates to the things and the habits that you can form or you can bring over into your next season of college or working. So I had to share those statistics with you. Now, to the meet and greet part of the nitty and gritty of 5 ways to find a mentor. So, again, I can give you a million ways as to how you can find a mentor and how can you identify the best mentor for you. But I decided to keep this down into 5 different areas of ways you can find a mentor. So first, identify your interests. So I have a few questions I want you to take the time out and write, okay? The first one is, what is your hobby? So what are the things that make you excited to do? What are the things that you're essentially happy to do? What is that one thing or 2 things that your hobby, right? So that's the first one. The second one is, why does it make you happy? So why does that hobby make you fulfilled or excited? Another question I have for you is, what are things that you like to do that you want others to enjoy with you? Okay, so those are 3 questions amongst many that you can kind of ask yourself to help identify what those interests are. And I say that to say, when you're looking for a mentor, you want to be relatable. You want that person to relate to things that get you excited. So, I have an interest in dance. So my mentor, one of my many mentors actually was a former dancer. And I found that was the connection to us was we understand dance, we know dance. And from that relationship curated we talked about that web, right? That spider web. It curated other conversations for us to connect each other with other people. And then it becomes this big networking environment and circle of individuals that know each other, but we know each other from someone else, right? So those interests can kind of spark the conversations and spark, what you're looking for in mentorship and who you want to pursue as having a mentor. So that's the first one, is identifying your interests. And that can help and be a conversation starter to reaching out to those individuals. The second one is identify what you seek or hope to gain from having a mentor. I'm a firm believer in having mentors in different capacities, right? So what does that mean? I have a mentor for higher ed. I'm a higher educational professional, meaning I work with college students day in and day out. I have a mentor that solely focuses on being in higher education. They exist in higher education currently with me. So they're able to give me, timely, accurate, things that are happening in the present, and pour that into me to help me think of things from a different perspective, from a perspective of someone who's been in the industry for 20 years. I also have a mentor in higher education who was a former president, and he now serves as assistant president, where they govern higher educational institutions. So I have a mentor on my base of higher education at the college level, working at an institution, but also from a higher perspective of they can forecast what our universities and institutions will be doing. So I can speak to that mentor and say, such and such, I'm having a hard time understanding why our university is moving in this direction. And he can pour that knowledge from the top tier down and say, Kim, you need to think about it from this perspective, or this is the understanding from my knowledge of why we're moving into a digital space, or into how can we reduce funding for college students to attend college, those things. So, when you talk about what I hope to gain knowledge about what's happening now, but also what's being forecasted and happening in the future. What can we see coming up in the next 6 months? And the same for you. So again, when you talk about mentorship isn't just this one box. This is what your mentor should be doing and look like. It should be, I have mentors in different spaces. So for those students who are graduating seniors and going to college, maybe finding a mentor who, is a seasoned college student, a senior in college, a junior in college, someone who recently graduated, and talk through the early stages of, especially being a young lady attending a college campus. There are critical conversations that I think students should understand and know to mentally prepare themselves for the amount of work the amount of engagement and interaction you'll have with so many different people at one time, and how to maintain your sanity and understand, you have a bigger purpose outside of just attending the college. The goal is to always graduate from the college. So again, identify what you seek or hope to gain, and having a mentor is important. So kind of write down some notes of what you hope to learn from your mentor, and using those interests, and as I stated in the first bulletin, and match that with what you're seeking. You can start depicting, okay, I know I want this person. I think I want this person. I'm ready to have a conversation to learn more about this person. And 3, add those things together and find someone that matches it. Do the research on them. Have the critical conversations. Talk about, why do you like dance? Why do you like higher education? How can we connect further so I can learn more about the work that you're doing? That's a conversation that any professional will be willing to have, because they're 9 times out of 10 passionate about the work they're doing. If you see them on the front line of their industry, I can assure you they're passionate about what they're doing and who they're working with. So taking those interests that you have, matching that with, what you hope to seek, and finding a mentor, boom, find someone who mimics those platforms in those areas, and do your research on them. When I moved to New Orleans, to give a kind of a story, when I moved to New Orleans, I was interested in finding a mentor who looked like me, but more importantly, who was in an industry that I was seeking to learn more about. So I wanted to learn more about how to upscale businesses, right? And how to elevate business platforms, and creating that foundation for taking companies to this next level. Now, again, it's something that's outside of higher education. So this is just a personal interest, as I talked about in point 1, that I started to kind of notice I was interested in. And so I found a mentor. I felt like she had a platform that I was like, man, I want to either be a part of that, I want to help her elevate it even further. I want to volunteer for her. I want to work for her. I want to help her impact me, so it can be an exchange. So finding someone you want to be like, or someone that you kind of admire or adore or appreciate the work that they're doing, is so important. And so once I was able to do research, I bought this person's book. I engaged with her on social media. And once that time comes, I want it to be organic. I want it to be natural. I'm going to make the ask, and that's going to be the second point the fourth point, is making the ask. Is I've done my research. I see the interest match, they're aligning. I see that I can have conversations about certain things when we do have the conversation of mentorship. And now it's time to make the ask. And I'm a firm believer of, emails are fine. But when you meet someone and have a conversation and see that, and they see that you've been doing research on them and following them, and kind of, setting the tone for what that mentorship process might look like, they will be more than willing to help you and to support you and to mentor you. Even if it's speaking, once or twice throughout a quarter, every 4 months or 3 months. So making the ask is all about being genuine. It's all about it being organic, and it's all about it being fruitful moving forward. So making the ask is at the point that I am with this person in New Orleans, who I think would serve as a great mentor for me. So you make the ask, you get a response, and even if the person says, you know what, I have so much on my plate, I'm just not in the space to be able to add more mentors or mentees, to what I have going on. You know what? That's okay. I would still appreciate it if you run across articles or opportunities. If you can forward them to me, I would appreciate that. And that all can take place in the turning key, the ending point of following up after the conversation and ensuring that you are able to stay in touch with that person and have that open form of communication. Because although they may not be able to have you as a mentee, or they can't be your mentor, you've created another relationship. So guess what? That spider web is growing and growing and growing. And next thing you know, you're adding value and equity to who you are as a person, because you're connected with so many different people. So staying in touch is important. I met someone at a conference about a year ago, and I moved to New Orleans. And lo and behold, I ran across her husband, because I've done research on this woman. I know about her. I ran across her husband at a New Orleans networking event. And I'm like, hello, I met your wife at a conference. She is amazing. Do you mind telling her that I've been trying to contact her? I would love to keep in contact. And so, yes, he was like, I'll be more than willing to do so. Here's my card. Send me an email. I'll connect you both. that one initiation, that one exchange allowed for me to not only be in contact with her husband, who serves in a major political role in Louisiana, but also the wife who was at the time, in that time frame of me asking and inquiring about her, was actually starting a new job, and she was going to be relocating to New Orleans. Wow, what is the listen? That the value in relationships and connecting and mentorship is so important. So when I reach out to her, she tells me about her job. She says, you know what, I want to treat you to lunch. Congratulations on working at Xavier. Once I get, settled and acclimated with my job, I'll reach back out. And that stay in touch part, this part here at the bottom, stay in touch, is so important. The following up is important, but the staying in touch is so critical. So as a young high school student, and even a middle school student, if you're looking to find ways to get connected and to be a part of, the high school conversation, what are we looking for from the higher ed perspective? What are we looking for in those high school students that we can start pouring into, and what are the things that we can do to ensure that transition from high school to college is meaningful, it's impactful, that you feel well equipped and well aware of who you are. So when that next season comes, you're not only adding to the foundation that you built, but you're expanding, you're adding the customations in the house. When you look at a house, you understand that it has a blueprint, it has a framework, it has the bare necessities. And then you talk about adding the special door and the special lighting and fixtures. Those are the things when you have mentors that they can pour and add to your life. It's the little things that we don't think about day in and day out. And so I think that those 5 things are just so critical and so important when you talk about finding a mentor and what's next for your next season. So mentorship is something that I value. I want to stay connected. Let's connect. I want to thank you all for listening to this very short but very valuable presentation. I'm all about having critical conversations. And so if you're that high school junior or senior and you're looking to find a mentor or someone that you can connect with or relate to, or just say, hey, Miss Kim, I want to just talk. Can I talk? I'm a firm believer in listening. So let's connect. Let's chat further. I'll share my contact information with you all. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for this younger millennial or Gen Z, whatever the new term is, population. I want to connect. I want to have those conversations. And again, juniors and seniors, find a mentor, find a teacher, find a coach, find an assistant principal or a secretary that you find that can relate to you, and you want to just talk and listen. Because listen, we're here to listen to the youth. The youth, you all set the tone for what our lives are going to look like in the next 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years. And so we can pour insight and value and understanding of the experiences that we've been through, and just allow you to help develop and formulate into the best versions of yourself possible. I want to be a part of that conversation, and I want to meet with you. So again, my information is here on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know how you like the presentation. And I thank you all again for connecting. Bye. Thank y'all so much.